Hello everyone, and welcome to another installment of Fantastic Fives, the show where we tell you the answers that are going to be on the test, and some people still want to argue about their grade. This week we're covering the one thing that some comic fans love as much as comics: toys. Comics based on toy lines are a perfect match. A connection to popular toy lines can mean big bucks for the comic company, and the toy line gets the benefits of promotion plus a way to expand on the mythology of the world the toys exist in. Everybody wins. Some toys have maintained a presence on comic shop shelves for decades, but nostalgia has recently fueled the return of a number of old favorites. Since not all toy lines are so lucky, this week we're looking at 5 that are ripe for a comic book rebirth. Number 5, Monster in My Pocket. If you're not familiar with these toys, then let me assure you, this is not some kind of setup for a dirty joke, and no, I'm not getting the name of Pocket Monsters wrong. No. Monster in My Pocket was a toy line from the 1990s that featured over 200 little pocket-sized monsters based on characters and creatures from mythology, history, folklore, cryptozoology, and your nightmares. Well, I guess if your nightmares involve being scared of a tiny red werewolf. Besides the trading cards, board games, video game, and animated special, there was actually already a comic miniseries written by the late, great Dwayne McDuffie with legendary artists Gil Kane and Ernie Colón. Sure, it only lasted for 4 issues, but the monsters are ready for a comeback. Plus, those other pocket monsters are still doing pretty well for themselves. Number 4, Skeleton Warriors. Skeleton Warriors was trading so heavily on the inherent coolness of skeletons that the initial wave of figures was made up of nothing but the skeleton bad guys. While it was pretty cool of the toy company to focus on the most interesting part of their property, apparently moms in 1995 weren't as forward-thinking and were put off by a bunch of Grim Reaper-looking guys with swords. Add in the fact that the cartoon was a little darker than what was usually expected on a Saturday morning, and by the time the good guy figures started showing up months later, that ship was already sinking. But that doesn't mean Skeleton Warriors wouldn't be a great candidate for a revival comic series. There's skeletons, magic gems, skeletons, flying motorcycles, and skeletons. I can't express enough how rad it would be to have a magic gem that lets you turn people into living skeletons that do your bidding. Hey, speaking of magic gems, number 3, Golden Girl and the Guardians of the Gemstones. No, not the Golden Girls, this is Golden Girl, singular. She's got a much different gimmick going for her, though I'd totally be down for some kind of crossover between the two. This toy line is fascinating for a number of reasons, and you're in luck because I'm going to tell you what those reasons are. For starters, this was one of the first action figure lines that actively tried to be for both boys and girls. The Golden Girl figures looked a little more like Barbie than the He-Man figures they were competing against, but their assortment of weapons and accessories, some of which were made out of real metal, told little girls they could focus on kicking butts instead of just on what they were going to wear. And it's not that they didn't want to look fierce too. These ladies are serving some serious, high fashion, warrior realness. Add in the fact that another set of gem-themed warrior ladies are very popular right now, and I'd say Golden Girl is ready for her comic debut. Number 2, EXO Squad. To know EXO Squad is to love EXO Squad. I don't think I've ever talked to anyone who has watched the show that isn't still hung up on how great it was. And that goes doubly so for the ones who got in on the toys while they were still in stores. The toys in the show both had all the best aspects of an ensemble of interesting military characters like G.I. Joe, but with the added sci-fi awesomeness of mech battlesuits and a war in the stars with a captivating alien threat. This one's kind of personal for me because the second season of the series ended on a pretty massive cliffhanger. I need the comics to come to the rescue and give me that 3rd season so I can find out what the hell happened. And the number 1 toy that should be made into a comic book? Silverhawks. Look, there's 2 things that are very popular in the world of pop culture these days, and those are superheroes and Star Wars. Flying around and beating up bad guys with a bunch of buddies? Very cool. Flying around in space shooting lasers at bad guys? Also very cool. The Silverhawks have got both of those things in one, plus souped up spaceships and a big badass bad guy with a bone-chilling bassy voice to boot. The theme song says the Silverhawks are pretty metal, partly real. But launching out of your big metal bird spaceship into the black void of space to fight a devil monster riding a cyborg space squid is about as metal as it gets. Originally, I was going to put Bionic 6 on this list to represent the half-man, half-machine quota, but the time is right for the Silverhawks to return and strike while that pop culture iron is hot. That's it for this week. Come back next week where we'll list 5 more things that make us very, very happy. Thanks for watching this episode of Fantastic Fives. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Comics Alliance for more comic facts, and check out comicsalliance.com for more comic awesomeness.